Hello and welcome to another midweek conversation at First Baptist Sweetwater, where we strive to be the first responders of God's love. I'm Jerry Hendricks, and I'm here with T. Hamilton, and we are on the final countdown to Candlelight service.
It's like, what, 4 days away?
I think it'd be something like that.
Yeah. By the time people see
As
this, it'll
people
be less
keep
than
telling
4.
me, it's on the 24th.
Well, I'm in trouble now because people will see this not on Monday. So now people are going to be like, why are we doing it on January 28th?
We are a podcast of confusion for people.
Yeah, so we take that back. It's the 24th.
Yes, it is.
Final countdown. My bad.
Well, great day in worship yesterday. Again, remind you that we've changed our podcast recording date to Mondays here recently. That's working out well with our schedules and our weekly schedule. This will, of course, you'll be listening to this on a Wednesday if you listen on the day that it drops. But worship was a lot of fun. We had another good day and great day of music.
Right. We had the carolers. I thought that we really pumped it up, and it was good.
It was
really good.
Yeah. Shout out to Jenny Doggett.
Yep.
She did a great job. I don't guess we explained much about the transition. I don't want this to get lost in just the fact that Jeremy is no longer with us. We've been talking about for a year, at least a year, or actually through Advent last year, that we wanted to do something different, kind of up our game, so to speak, during our Advent worship Sundays. We knew through COVID that choirs it's sort of challenging to know what we have there, and so we didn't want to put undue pressure there and then not know whether or not if we could pull that off. So we decided to go from week to week and have just create a different experience. And so it's been a good stretch for us. And
this was a great ending to Advent for the music part of it.
Right.
Well, I guess technically it doesn't end until Christmas Eve.
Right.
But that was a great way to finish it. We started off strong. We ended strong. It was exciting.
Yeah, and I think you were the one that commented that. So we had carolers, for those who were not here Sunday, that were positioned on the stairwell in the foyer, and a lot of good sound comes in that area. Right. And so as people were coming into worship through the front doors, they were greeted by our carolers.
It sounded like a Hallmark movie, and it looked like a Christmas
You were
story.
waiting for the snow to fall.
It was magical.
And the magical kiss, and then they tell me that's when a Hallmark movie's over.
I'm sure it is. I don't watch those.
Anyways.
But all joking aside, it was really cool.
Yeah,
really cool, really worshipful.
As the countdown timer for the start of worship ended, they sang as they came down the aisle and then stretched across the front and sang. So
that was really cool too.
Anyways, at least it was a really neat experience. And then I think at this point you've been singing the songs of Christmas for several weeks, and so you just really start to feel that, and people are belting it out. It was really good. Yeah,
and it's going to be great at the Christmas Eve service. Same thing, choir sings there too, and so it's good. Right.
Well, we just finished looking at the schedule for Christmas Eve service, and we do create something that's rather simple, that is timely. We start right on time. I think that's important for people to know in our church, because if you're trying to gather family and you get away from home late, even in a short commute in Sweetwater, Texas, you may have missed 20% of the service.
Right.
We start on time, and then we strive. We looked at our past schedules, and it's about 40 minutes that we spend together singing songs, hearing music, a message with children, video, lighting a candle.
Fire.
I would prefer to call it lighting a candle.
I know, but I love that.
Ever since Pentecost, Teek's kind of gone on this fire binge in the worship center, that is.
I noticed you kind of flinched a little when I promoted it to the youth as our, come to Christmas Eve, you'll get to play with fire. And you kind of flinched a little. I was surprised by that.
It got my attention. Speaking of getting my attention, on Sunday, Teek dressed up for church. And not to say that you don't dress up week to week. But when people, when I say dress up and church, people might think a person is wearing a sport coat and tie, and you were.
Yes, I was. And I had a varied amount of responses to that. One of them was, I said something about it was washable, and they said, I wouldn't know. I don't own one of those. And I started laughing.
And I'm guessing now in my head who would have said something like that.
The sport coat had lights in it, candy canes, and it was a bow tie. Stephen May wanted to clarify that he wore that bow tie one time 5 years ago. We'll never live it down.
As we learned Wednesday night, Stephen May is also courageous with his Christmas attire.
He has the pants to match. I don't have the pants to match the sport coat, but he does.
Well, and the beanie he wore was topped his off on Wednesday night. So,
definitely.
Yeah. It was a good day. Teak came down the aisles and then ultimately helped us make the announcement about the candlelight service this Friday.
Right. And I've solidified it. It's my favorite one all year long. Christmas Eve service is my favorite. I always say I really like this. I really like this.
We're gonna have to put you on record because I heard you say that again Sunday.
I did, and
I'm going. I think he says this when we do the Tenebrae service.
I've committed to it though because I like Christmas. Advent. I love Advent.
Well,
you don't have a lot of suit coats, jackets like that one that fit for Tenebrae.
No, you do not.
So,
yes, please do not.
But no, I really do. And maybe it's because of the family atmosphere. Seeing everybody come in, Barbara King comes in with her couple of family members that she has. And that's sarcasm.
Yes.
My family gets to come over for that, so it's one of the services where I get to spend time with it. One of the reasons we're so simple on it is so you don't have to have a bunch of people running slides and music and everything. People can sit with their families. There's a different feel at that service than there is at any other service that we do. And I think that's why I've committed. It's my favorite.
Well, I always think of it as having a warm feeling.
Yes.
And ironically, this year it is going to be rather warm, like 80 degrees that day.
It is.
But having spent so many Christmases with our children on the Gulf Coast, that doesn't deter me a bit.
Right.
I don't care really what kind of weather we have. That the experience is warm. It's an emotional warmth, I feel like, and it's good to see family together. And then there's a bit of a mystery with this year because we didn't have the service last year.
Right.
With the large gathering.
Right.
Now, it was the way we did it last year did have a lot of elements that I thought were very special and that I enjoyed personally very much in our experience. But it will feel good. In fact, as we were talking Sunday morning on the stage, I was almost picturing it as if it was the candlelight service. Right. And that is a really neat feeling.
The other part of it is we see so many people come back that maybe have moved off or family members that don't get to come down as often. So when you see people like Barbara's family, the Kings come in, it's like family coming in because you get to talk to them for a second and you get to catch up a little bit. And you don't get to do that normally. Yeah. And these are people who we see every once in a while, but they're part of the family, and so it's really fun.
Well, I think the other thing about it is that and I realize that for families that it can be a chaotic time.
Right.
But for the most part, because of the simple structure and nature of it, it's almost that calm before the adrenaline of whatever is next. And I know I've talked about Christmas Eve families or Christmas Day families. What I mean by that is that I grew up, and most of the years that our children were young, we opened presents to one another on Christmas Eve.
Okay.
And then the Santa gifts were on Christmas morning.
Okay.
And stocking. And so that was my tradition. I think it seems as if families now, there's almost an even split on that. There are families that still do that. So anyways, for us, it made Christmas Eve a really long night because we've always been involved in these candlelight services. And then we had a routine of going to see lights and then coming in and starting the gift process. But so we've changed that up as adults, but and now we're a Christmas morning. All the gifts are on Christmas morning. We do a spaghetti and meatball dinner. James and Sarah and the kids fixed that.
Did you say you used to do seafood because you're on the Gulf Coast?
We do seafood on Christmas Day.
Christmas Day, that's what it was.
So
I remember that.
this Wednesday is my day to hit the market and see what's available. When we started this, we lived on the Gulf Coast in Texas City, and there's a lot of good fresh fish, fresh off the Gulf fish. Yeah. It's a little different here, but there's some markets in Abilene that are pretty good.
We have a little tank, river, lake beside us that you can get fresh crawfish out of. If you'd like that,
I'll pass.
Okay.
Anyways,
there's also carp.
But thanks for that reminder in case I ever have that
I can
that urge.
that.
But so, anyways, what do you guys do?
My parents come down or come over here for our Christmas Eve service. We go to it. My mom cooks. This year we're having beef stew, which 80 degrees weather. It goes well with that. Thank you, weather. And then we open one gift from Santa. Santa arrives. That happened when I was a kid at my grandparents' house. Santa came early, and Santa still comes early to us. We're special. And then Sunday morning we go to my parents and we open gifts and stuff like that.
Well, it's fun to hear all the different experiences, but it's definitely that last moment. I think the candlelight service is sort of that last moment of calmness and rest before all the rest of whatever the Christmas holiday breaks out.
Yeah, definitely.
I think this year we'll have worship only on the day following Christmas. That's going to be kind of odd. I mean, sometimes I'll go when there's a holiday on a weekend. I'll have to keep telling myself today's only to make sure I get my days right, so I don't get up and go to church on a Saturday, ready to to speak up and speak out. But
why did nobody show up today?
Yeah, why am I the only one here?
The team didn't even turn on the heater.
Oh man! Well, yesterday I really wanted to kind of center our thought around what we remember as through Christmas, and not so much just the tendency we have to, we're not going to forget Christmas, but we move on so fast from it that I felt like that maybe using the word and the imagery of remembering might help us to kind of linger in the moments that we have and grasp a little bit about the meaning of a season, and then even the anticipation of the next season that we'll be going into.
Right. I think you're right, because my first thing I thought about even today as we're sitting here talking was, as soon as Christmas Day's over, that's when you have to start packing up all the Christmas decorations.
Yeah, right.
Well, some people do. We just have lights. We wait till the snow
Ours magically disappears too. I don't know what happens.
There's these little gnomes.
Elves, in November, James and I go to a football game. We come back and there's a tree in our living room. It's just amazing.
And then
it works real well.
Yeah, we only put up lights usually and a Christmas tree. We didn't get a Christmas tree this year yet, but last year the snow took our lights down for us. As it was thawing, it shifted and the whole deal of snow went off the roof. And I just hear all the way around the house. I was like, well, our Christmas lights are down now. So there's that.
Oh, wow. Well, and then I think another thing I'm sort of excited about, I get excited about a new year and things starting over and doing some planning that I started back at the beginning of Advent, which is my Christian year, my Christian calendar year starts then. But having so much time, it feels like where you can be productive from Christmas into New Year's.
Right.
A lot of times it depends on where it falls, but I'm really looking forward to having a full week, but without next week to jump into some of that stuff as a staff and personally, but then also knowing that really we're coming into just what would be a normal weekend for us.
Right.
But before, and we're still in the new year, so or the old year.
The old year, yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways,
and it's a pretty dead week, which helps us out. That you can focus on other things because everybody else is doing something else, so it helps us.
Right. And in speaking to that, Teague and I have been talking about some major things, emphasis for us this next year, not just how to start the year, but things that flow through our year. So next week we are doing that as a staff, having a day to really look at our calendar and probably do more intense work on that than we've done in some time. A lot of that is because of the reading of a book that we share together called Future Church, and then this year, starting January 23rd, we've put in motion a Bible study series that will happen on Sunday mornings with a guest speaker for 3 Sundays running. And I'm excited about this. Like I said, we have talked about it for a long time, how to program it in our church. And when we presented the idea to leadership, everyone seemed to be on board. So we're looking forward to that. On January 23rd, we'll have Summit Bible Study. It'll be our first year to do this, and I think that it does have the potential for being one of those things that sticks with us, and we kind of develop an identity around where we bring someone in to speak. This year it's going to be Miles Wernz, who teaches at the Baptist Study Center at ACU. He's spoken here once before. He is one of the sharpest minds around, and he's going to be talking about the parables in the kingdom of God. So we're looking forward to that.
Good.
And we've also invited a former staff member to come and lead worship on that first day, Jonathan Jones, who still lives here in Abilene, in Sweetwater. So we were excited that the calendars, his calendar and our calendar aligned, and that he'll be able to be here with us on that big day. Following that first day of worship, we'll have a meal together in the fellowship hall where we can dialogue just a little bit. We'll have some time where we can dialogue with Miles Wernz about his subject matter and maybe what he's doing. Right. We'll talk about that more. So we'll start pushing out that information today through this podcast, and then the first time we'll see it again is in our Christmas Eve program. Right. So anyways, we'll get the ball rolling on that. We're real excited about it.
So this Sunday, though, 26th. No class, worship only 10:30.
Worship only 10:30, and we'll probably still be singing a few Christmas songs.
Yep.
But it'll be a great day of worship and meeting together, kind of sharing the excitement, the post-Christmas excitement.
Yep.
All right. Well, and enjoyed this time with you folks. Thanks for listening in. We're glad that you let us be a part of your midweek. We look forward to seeing you on Sunday.
See ya.